Cats at Night recaps the day's headline makers and the truth with John Catsimatidis. Weeknights at 5 p.m. Cats at Night on 77 WABC.
Well, they're letting China off scot-free. And this is not just an issue of, oh, why am I being punished when China's not? Or China will have an economic advantage over the United States. You don't even have to reach that. The world is round. So what China emits is as bad as what the United States emits. So why don't you go haunt their house? They're the ones that ought to be attacked. They're the ones where the embassy ought to be demonstrating in front of. They're the ones you ought to be pressing. But of course you can't, because you get killed or boycotted or sent to a re-education camp in that wonderful country. Let's go to Nick in Fairhaven, New Jersey. Hi, Nick.
Nick, my original point is about the virus, but I have some notes on carbon and socialism.
Good.
Yeah, it's not really emission. We should be calling it carbon binding, because carbon combustion binds CO2, and ice cores only measure carbon, which cannot
CO2,
be
folks, is carbon dioxide if you flunked high school chemistry. Go on. Go ahead.
It can't be de-autonomized, or I haven't looked into what that process is, but that's socialism. And what world is socialism gentrification or taking labor's means to choose? I mean, from my historical context here, Marx was talking about Odessa, and my ancestors, being Polish, Italian, American, we, I guess, fled after the pogroms. Communism, not Marxist.
Cut you off because we're coming to a break. But thank you for calling. Let's go to Bill in Manhattan. Hi, Bill.
Hello. How are you doing? I'll be quick. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the service you provide. I just want to bring a couple of things. The bottom line is $500,000 for people who came here illegally. Some are gang members. And what about American veterans, American military and NATO who are separated from their wives, husbands, and children?
Yeah.
What about that? Are they going to get $500,000? I'm an American Marine veteran. I've been fighting the VA for 42 years.
Thanks.
They denied me compensation.
Thanks for your service. Let's go to Walker in Paramus. Hey, Walker.
Hey, Dick. Two things. Governor Murphy got a bye. He had a disaster of a snowstorm in 2018, November 15th. He never declared a state of emergency. People are still stuck in traffic now. They're home by now. But what they did is a contingency plan. They like to, overreact, the knee-jerk, with the climate change. You had a quarter inch of snow. Every snowstorm out there was just a mere quarter inch. It was a dusting. They put out a half inch of salt. It destroyed the cars. Cars got ruined. And I lost brake lines, and I know a lot of other people did. There were accidents, and he said nothing. There was no press conference. It was the same time as the League of Municipalities meeting, and supposedly he was half in a bag.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Sometimes I wish he'd be fully in a bag because he could do less damage that way. In the radio station, when we get a caller who's, kind of loud and noisy like we had a minute ago, I give my producer a signal, and he looks through the glass, and that means that he cuts the caller off and goes to another one. But the habit is contagious, so I've been doing that at home when I want to shut people up. It's a bad idea. It really screws up your domestic life, really, big time. So we talked today about how the New Jersey and the Virginia governor's races are closing fast, and the Republicans are coming on very strong because Biden is endorsing their opponents, and the drag that he's causing is bringing them down, down, down. And if the Republicans win in Virginia and New Jersey, I do not believe that Biden will have the political clout to make his congressmen walk the plank and vote for $2 trillion of spending and taxes. I don't think he can do it. We talked about the vaccine mandates with the insanity that the people that are being fired for not being vaccinated are willing to take tests that show they're not carrying the disease in the first place. So they're being fired for not being vaccinated against a disease that they don't have and can't carry. Absolutely unbelievable. And we talked about how the children are being forced to take this vaccine when fewer than 500 children 202 actually, under the age of 4 have died from COVID over the last 2 years. Now that's tragic. But for goodness sakes, 176,000 people over the age of 65 have died of COVID in that period. They're the ones that should get the shots. To make these little infants get it when we don't know the long-term effects is outrageous. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.